My loves, what vines bind your movement, stunt your growth, or block it? That might be the light from within shining out, or the light, the truth, from without, from above, um, from spirit. Okay, I was like wanting to tell this message all day. Let me tell you, I've talked about this before, but the plant wisteria, I've shown you it before. Sometime when it's in bloom, it's got these like beautiful purple flowers that like hang down, and it's a vine, so it looks like really like whimsical and beautiful. But wisteria, it's technically an invasive species. And so wherever it is, it grows really prolifically and really hardy, and it technically chokes and stunts the growth and blocks the light of the plant that it is growing up. So the wisteria vine, it starts winding its way around whatever's next to it. To be a fence, but if it's a plant or a tree, it'll start like winding its way around. And if you look at the wisteria, it like looks so delicate and beautiful, but if you look up close, it's got these like tiny little like arms that are wrapped around every like little point of the tree that it's on. And so, I love the wisteria. I do think it's really beautiful, and it seems harmless, but it does, anchor the, plant that it is wrapped around. It pulls it down to the ground. And sometimes you'll see wisteria really high up because it'll, grow alongside the plant that it's on. But when it gets to a certain point, the wisteria just keeps growing. And so it covers the tree. Even like from, inside my house, we have a wisteria that's like growing outside of the window, and it grows so fast that it actually like goes up against the window. And sometimes when the wind blows, the wisteria will scratch against the window, and it'll sound like this. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And so the wisteria is beautiful, prolific, hardy, but it is kind of stunting the growth of the plant it's growing on. It is, like pulling it back down to the ground. It is blocking the plant from getting the light that it needs. It is blocking me from seeing the vision. It obscures the view. Oof. Okay. If you've been with me a while, I think you see that I'm giving you a beautiful analogy from nature. Okay. What are the vines in your life that are beautiful? They are, entrenched. They're familiar. They've been here as long as you've been here. But if you were to admit it, they do kind of keep you anchored. They keep you tethered. They pull you back to the ground. When you start to dream a little too big, what are the vines that are like, nope, you come on back down here. Don't you grow too tall. Don't you grow too high. What are the vines in your life that, are beautiful and familiar and seemingly harmless, but they kind of, block your light? They stop you from expanding, from moving the way you might naturally move without these vines attached to you. And it's like, what are the vines that even when you don't really like pay attention to them, but you can still like hear them scratching against the window, kind of distracting you. Yeah, and it's like, what are you in this analogy? Are you the wisteria? Are you the mulberry tree? Are you me, the observer of this phenomenon, who's like, oh, maybe I should cut the wisteria so it's not choking this mulberry tree? In fact, that's another thing about wisteria. Like, it's kind of the one plant that I could identify in my garden. It's so beautiful and iconic, and it's just been there that like I know the wisteria. It's familiar to me. And I actually didn't realize that one of the trees that the wisteria was growing on is a mulberry tree. And mulberries, You can, make jam out of them. Apparently it's like sweeter than blackberries. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even notice there was this whole fruiting tree trying to be seen beneath these vines, beneath these beautiful but ornamental and invasive vines that are choking out the, I guess, indigenous plants around here. So yeah, who are the vines in your life? What are the relationships that are beautiful? They maybe look good, looks great in a picture, but it's kind of stunting your growth. It's limiting your ability to move as you naturally would move. What are maybe it's a job, maybe it's a romantic relationship, maybe it's a family relationship, maybe they are, mental vines, mental attachments that are just constricting your ability to expand naturally. They're maybe blocking your ability to see the truth of who you are. Maybe they're blocking your light. You're not able to see your light because of this beautiful, entrenched kind of vine. Yeah. We've definitely been taught to like kind of cling to the things that we have always had. We got this house and all the plants that are here, were here before pretty much. So like, I didn't plant the wisteria. I didn't plant any of these things. They just were here. And so it's like, do I cut the wisteria or do I let everything grow naturally? I've been spending a lot of time out here with these trees, and I did have Billy like cut the wisteria once, and like on the magnolia tree, like it's like he cut it and the tree went like it like stretched upwards. I'm like, dang, I wonder how tall this tree could really grow if it wasn't being constantly brought back down to earth. Oof, how big could your dream be? How, what could you accomplish if you weren't constantly being brought back down to earth? Okay, so I thought of this message because, apparently it's going to be Mother's Day this weekend. And, my sister invited everyone to like a crab feast for Mother's Day. And, I and probably you who's watching this, you are being called to not follow the crowd. You're called to be apart from the crowd. So you might be a beautiful magnolia, a beautiful mulberry tree who, just happens to also be in a garden with a beautiful wisteria, okay? And the wisteria, it's like we've grown accustomed to it, but it's not like, the mulberry tree or the magnolia is leaning on the wisteria for support. The wisteria actually isn't strong enough to support a tree. It is only strong enough to latch onto the tree and kind of like hitch a ride as the tree grows. But at a certain point, the wisteria starts to inhibit the growth of the tree. The wisteria starts to outgrow the tree, and it pulls the tree back to the ground. You got to look at it too. It's like constricting. It's like a constrictor around the tree. It looks like a snake that's wrapped around. So it'll like, at first it'll start as just kind of a plant like this, and then it'll harden into this like thick vine, and it just pulls the magnolia, the mulberry down, stops it from being able to expand as it would naturally. So yeah, are you in a job right now that maybe it looks good on paper? Maybe you're a lawyer like I was. Maybe you are I don't know, in the military. You are working for a big corporation. It looks really good. People are like, ooh, how beautiful. Whoa, that's like powerful, stunning. But it kind of, you have to like, you can't speak freely. You can't speak on the things that you want to talk about. You can't interact how you would like to interact. You feel like you have to kind of stay small. Your growth is kind of inhibited by this vine, this structure, this job, this relationship that looks really good on paper, that's beautiful to look at, but it is stunting your growth. It is inhibiting your ability to move freely. And here's another thing. All right. The wisteria is just being a wisteria. It's not necessarily wrong for growing prolifically the way it does. It's quite admirable, actually. Its ability to bloom and grow and thrive wherever it's planted. And so it's kind of hard. It's like, your family, your job, your relationship, it might not be, terrible. They might not be horrible to you. They might not be like poisoning you or, I don't know, like deforming you in a way that's super visible. But I think you can feel it energetically, the constriction, the grounding, the, shadow kind of, because it's blocking your light. So you're kind of in the shade, which is nice in the summer, right? Sometimes it's nice to be in the shade. Sometimes it's nice to have a beautiful little canopy that's covering you. It makes the day much more pleasant. But it gets a little cold in the shade, right? Light wants to radiate, it doesn't want to be dim. Its natural form is to be bright, is to radiate, and so is yours. So what are the vines that are blocking your light so that like people can't see how bright you are, you can't see how bright you are, or blocking the truth from getting to you? It's hard sometimes when you're in a group setting where everyone is doing a thing that keeps them grounded and keeps them small and keeps them constricted. It's easy to stay in that. It's easy to like settle for it since everyone else is. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess everyone else is letting the wisteria, drag them down. Fine. It's still a very beautiful garden. But like, your nature is to be free. It's to be expansive. It's to keep growing. Also, I don't know. I think there's something about like, I don't know if it's the wisteria, but like, sometimes when something can't, just because it's not growing up doesn't mean it's not growing down, right? And there are some vines, weeds that like, they're so hardy and they like start to grow underground and they'll like crack your foundation. Oh, we love that metaphor. We love a beautiful metaphor. Oh my God. Okay. Don't you start, mosquitoes. Don't you do it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Let me get up out of here. But I think I've given you the message. Okay. So I was thinking about, how Mother's Day and the other holidays are kind of ways to keep people trapped in the matrix timeline, in the matrix value system. The US government, I assume, did not create Mother's Day because they care so much about mothers, right? Because they respect mothers. You know what's interesting about Mother's Day? It's like the day of the year in the US where the crime rate is the lowest. People commit the least amount of crimes on Mother's Day, which you can read that a lot of ways. I think an interesting way to read that is, Mother's Day is a holiday that criminals celebrate. I know people feel different ways about Mother's Day, but I'm just like, ugh, okay. It's a holiday that criminals observe. They take a day off for Mother's Day. So why would I do the same thing as them? I know that we're already on this new timeline where we just, we're not tied to the matrix. We don't just fall for the story that they give us, even though it's a beautiful one. Oh, it's so pretty, the flowers and the tradition, and it's everyone puts aside their differences and we come and do this thing. But like, I don't know, do we need to put aside our differences right now? I think what we need is to kind of stand on business and be like, I'm not playing along. I'm not going along with this. I know it's beautiful. I know everyone's been doing it. This is how it's been doing since I got here, but like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm a thriving mulberry tree who just discovered that I was a mulberry tree. I just discovered that I have delicious fruit that's not poisonous. And I didn't know that before, in part because I was wrapped, like a thick ass wisteria was wrapped around me, and it was kind of blocking my light. So I wasn't able to thrive in my fullness. I wasn't able to see what I could do because I was being slowly crushed and brought back down to earth by an invasive species that is beautiful and is just doing its thing. But I still gotta go. I still gotta cut it. So, yeah, you know, we're trying something different here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. This is kind of off-putting that I keep like moving so much, but I just don't want to give the mosquitoes any place to land. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right. But yeah, tell me what you think. Isn't that brilliant? What are the wisteria that look so beautiful and they're just doing their things? They're not, they're not trying to harm anyone. This is just how they operate. But is it blocking your light? Is it blocking the truth of who you are? Is it limiting your ability to shine and thrive and be fruitful and move freely? Then you might have to cut it, baby. You might have to cut it. Okay? Yeah. All right. So I've had such a beautiful day. I'm going to go, and me and Billy are going to do some like creative playing and, arting and doing some stuff for my new website that he created. Oh my God, it looks so beautiful. It's called SeeLikeSheba.com. And I'm coming up with what the packaging for my medicine is, like what the details of my offerings, because I know you guys really want to work with me one-on-one because I'm so brilliant and I'm so amazing and life-changing. So yeah, I want to figure out how to articulate what I do, what I offer, how you'll benefit, and what you need. So yeah, that was brilliant. So anyway, so people feel different ways about holidays and about Mother's Day in particular. And yeah, I want to encourage you to do it differently. Do differently than what everyone expects you to do. Everyone expects you to just sit pretty and go along and let things grow around you. But I think you're here to reimagine traditions and reshape them in your own image. Ooh, did you know you were that powerful? I feel like you do. You keep finding videos like this, creators, readers, channelers like me, and you keep clicking on it and you keep staying till the end because you believe it. You know it's true. You feel it. So trust it. Believe it. You don't have to do it the way everyone expects you to. In fact, Spirit is telling you to do it different. Like, Spirit knows what happens when everyone just goes along with things and goes to work and does what their parents expect and, does the holidays that the government says you celebrate. And Spirit doesn't need to see that anymore. Spirit needs to see you do it different. What else is out there? What else is possible for a human? For a human in 2026? So yeah, heal your witch wounds. You're not going to get burned at the stake for getting woo-woo, for saying crazy things, for connecting with Spirit. You can trust your connection to the divine. It's the colonial voice that wants you to, assume that the divine is in the Bible or the Torah or whatever the Abrahamic religions say it is. God is so expansive, it cannot be contained to a book, to a religion, certainly not to the same religion that Hitler, believed in, or the KKK or Donald Trump. So, anyway, let me get up out of here before these bugs get to bugging, okay? I got that sweet blood. I get it. It's that's one of the things about being so attractive and delicious. Bloodsuckers want to come and get a piece of you. Ooh, that's okay. Anyway, I love you guys. Oh, girl. Okay, I love you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe. This is all made up, okay? So cut them vines, baby. You're going to feel so good, too. It'll be a little unfamiliar, so that will feel weird, and you'll want to kind of run back to what you know, even if it's not great for you, even if it's not the most nurturing, expansive environment for you. But You're here to do it different and it's going to work out. Okay. So like, comment, subscribe. I love you so much. And I will talk to you Earth Angels later. Okay. Oh my gosh.